What's up, magical people? Welcome back to Your Most Magical Life. I'm Mia Magic. Today we're talking about the Cancer full moon. This is the first full moon of the year in the Gregorian calendar, and this is a really powerful full moon. It's known as the wolf moon. This is a deep winter, snowy type of moon. I'm actually in our new place in Boulder. We are trying it out here for a couple of months to see if this is an aligned mountain magic kind of place for us to be. And so there's a lot of really beautiful, potent energy around the home. Cancer is the sign of the healer, the sign of the mother. And when we really look at that, the mother for all of us is the earth. She's the mother that we all share. So it doesn't matter where you are, what your relationship with your own biological mother is, or the woman who raised you. This is really an opportunity for us to look at the way that we're relating to the earth, how we feel at home within ourselves, how we're mothering and parenting ourselves, and really just the way that we relate to the earth and coming to completion with some of the habits and patterns that might not be empowering us the way that we'd really like to. So I'm in a new space. It's just my little micro altar. I haven't gotten to set anything up yet. We just moved in yesterday, and I'm looking out at gorgeous mountains and sugar pine trees and snow-covered hilltops. So please forgive me that this isn't exactly what I would like to be showing you all. I haven't gotten all of my beautiful things set together yet. There's a bunch of stuff on my little altar table that's going to be hung. Anyways, but see, even those little things, it's all tied together. I'm here sharing with you all. And this is my home. It's not permanent, but it's temporary. It's an expression of me. Our home, the way that our body is the home of our soul and our spirit, our home obviously is the home of our body. So there's a lot of really beautiful ways that we can look at, like, how is my body feeling right now? How am I expressing myself? How does my home represent who I am? How does my body represent who my soul is? And really just starting to ask a lot of questions around what our relationship is to that mother energy, specifically as an invitation to how am I mothering myself? How am I showing up as the mother, which is the creator, right? It's the giver of life. It's the nourisher, the nurturer. It's about how we talk to ourselves, how we care for ourselves. And Cancer is, so the moon is at home on this full moon. She is at home in her home sign. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So this is a very watery energy. This is very creative, very flowy. I just started my moon today, so I'm going to be bleeding on the full moon as always. Well, not always, but most of the time. And even though it's a new space and not fully dialed the way I'd like it to be, I will be leading a ritual on Saturday, January 7th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So that's 9 a.m. PST. So if you would like to join, you can click the link below. And it's going to be really deep and juicy and beautiful around how we mother and parent ourselves. So this archetype is very much about that fluid energy of creation. It's not rigid. It's very, the way that, like, that ideal mother, the mother that we all love or kind of hoped that we would have had as children, she goes with the flow. She knows how to be adaptable. She knows how to support you. She knows how to be there for you. She knows how to show up for you. A lot of us didn't have mothers like that, but we can understand sort of that archetypal, desirable energy, right? So the invitation for this full moon is to really look at, again, because Cancer is a sign of the home, it's a sign of the family. That's not just about whether or not you have children or, like if you're decorating a home like I am right now. It's really about, again, your home in yourself. So I had a big story around moving up here. My community's in LA. I've been in LA for 10 years now. I have the most incredible soul family. And for me, I wasn't feeling nourished in LA anymore. It's so dry. It's hot and sunny all the time, all day long, which is great. But it doesn't make me feel in alignment with the cyclical nature of the seasons and of the natural world. And so I really wanted to come to a place, especially like in wintertime, I wanted to come to a place where I could experience a more internal invitation, right? The world is cold outside. Last night it was like, 10 degrees outside Fahrenheit. And so that is an invitation to stay inside and to get warm. And I watched the fire dancing in my fireplace in a way that I've never seen fire behave. And so that's one of the other pieces of a full moon, is that light right? The fire from the sun is fully illuminating this archetypal energy. So it's illuminating any of the patterns around how we relate to ourselves, how we feel about our homes, how we feel about our bodies as the home of our spirit, how we feel about that mother energy, whether it's our mother physically, like our actual biological mother, or Mother Earth, or the way that we parent ourselves. Again, I'm going to say these things over and over again because it's really applicable. I needed to come somewhere else, but I also noticed that I had this story of even using that word, right? Of need. I need to go somewhere else. I need to get out of LA. I need to try something different. But something that I've heard is that the oceans are for healing and the mountains are for growing or for rising. And so that really resonated with me. And I realized as soon as we got here, we had this amazing house that was all just like totally spectacular, all dialed in, all lined up. And on January 1st, the morning after we arrived, when we were supposed to move in that afternoon, the owner of the home broke up with me via text and said, "Sorry for the inconvenience," after driving 3 days in snowstorms in the middle of winter with my 2 cats in tow and getting completely stuck in rural Wyoming because they closed the freeways. "Sorry for the inconvenience, but we've decided to just sell the house instead of rent it to you." We're like, what? Unsettling, ungrounding, can create fear, can create a lack of faith, a lack of trust, a ton of doubt, uncertainty. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? And instead, it was like, okay, if the story has been that I need to go to these mountains, like I need this grounding, this rising energy, I need X, Y, or Z. Obviously, the invitation is not to let the mountains be the thing that gives me that grounding energy. It's asking me to be the mountain. How solid and safe and stable can I be? How deeply committed to and connected to being the home of my spirit, no matter what is going on outside of me, no matter what is happening with the home of my body will always be my home. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter where you live, no physical environment will ever give to you or provide for you what your body will. You have to feel safe within yourself. You have to feel strong and stable and secure within yourself because nothing else is going to do that for you. And it ended up being this incredibly beautiful opportunity for both my partner and I, because it was like, oh fuck, what are we going to do? It's like we're renting a beautiful cabin on Airbnb at the base of a mountain. It was gorgeous. We stayed an extra night and we found something and we moved in the next day and it was fine. It was fine. Right? Because when we get into that vibration of not trusting the mother, not trusting the guidance of the universe, that's when we're not safe. That's when we draw in. I have my little favorite bunny painting right here behind me. And the rabbit medicine is one of my favorite totems, one of my most impactful totems, because when you look at a bunny, right? They're like hopping around, so cute. They're all over here in Colorado and they're just doing their little thing, but you see them get scared and they freeze and they pause their eating and their ears are erect and they are just like, oh, fuck. But that energy, even that, like the tension that I can feel from just pretending to do that, that energy is way more easily perceptible to their predator than when they're just like chill, right? Heartbeat is relaxed, nervous system regulated, connected with the earth. They're doing great. So the fear is actually what attracts to us that which we fear. When we are in a state of trust, like we want to be with the mother, right? We want to embody that Mother Earth energy, which is like, okay, even though these people are like drilling into me and like extracting everything from me the way that I'm sure those of you who are moms have certainly felt with your children before, right? My mom has definitely felt that with me before and my brother specifically. But when you can still love someone, when you can still understand that like they're not doing that consciously, right? Like that's what I have to tell myself when people are, just like cutting down redwood trees all the time. I'm like, they just don't get it. They don't know that they're hurting themselves. They don't know. And it's still hard for me because I'm like, are you fucking serious? How could you cut down a 10,000-year-old tree? Now there's none of them left. But let's not get too distracted. Something that I also just learned is that, and it happened to be transiting my natal Lilith, but Lilith, the black moon Lilith, so this is the energy of the first witch. It can be the dark feminine, but really it's just the feminine, because the feminine is the yin, it is the void, it is the darkness of the womb. And shadow really isn't bad. We have all these stories about how shadows are bad, but shadows guide us. They show us where we can shine more light, where we can heal more. So when you have a full moon, that light, that fiery energy of the sun is reflecting off of the water, or the magnetic, kind of ruler of the water, the moon, right? All of the tides are controlled or magnetized by the moon. And so as I was watching this fire last night, I really felt the importance of the transformation, because that's what the illumination of the full moon is asking for. It's asking for that light to shine upon any unseen or shadowy elements of yourself, any darkness that you are ready to transform. And then fire is the element of transformation. What are you ready to let die, to be burned away, so that you can rise like the phoenix from the ashes of whatever is next, what's coming now, what's being birthed, what's rising out of the sort of alchemical process of that release. So for me, Lilith, the first witch energy, that dark feminine, was passing through my natal placement where Lilith was when I was born. So this energy right now, Lilith just passed through Cancer, and I believe it is around the full moon. I can't remember exactly which day it is, but it's in like 3 or 4 days from now that Lilith is shifting into Leo. So Lilith, this dark feminine energy, really like very much, it's called dark moon Lilith. So that's sort of holding that new moon energy. That's holding this dark feminine, the mystery, the unknown, and it's passing through Cancer. It's only in Cancer for these next few days. It's finishing its transit through that sign. So it's also looking at where are the dark feminine elements, right? Because a lot of us had mothers that weren't very kind. Again, I've been telling everyone to watch this show or the documentary about Sinead O'Connor. It's absolutely fantastic and beautiful and mind-blowing and so amazing. It's like one of my favorite films I watched all last year. I've seen it a bunch of times already. And it's called Nothing Compares. Go watch it. So amazing. But seeing how so many people's mothers are so deeply traumatized that then they project pain. They inflict more trauma, more wounding onto their children. A lot of that is because of programming in the church and the way that we've become so disconnected from the mother. And so seeing that transit of this dark moon Lilith, that dark feminine energy, we have an opportunity to really let go of this, to really release this as Lilith then moves into Leo, this fire sign, which is a lot more external, a lot more outward, a lot more like, hello, look at me, right? The biggest invitation that I have for all of you is to really look at what is your relationship like with the earth. I've been talking about this so much, and when I work with one-on-one clients, that's the biggest piece that I find heals any mother wounds. If you have disappointment with your mother, anger, frustration, overall trauma or wounding that was caused by your mother, which, everybody does usually in different ways, some more subtle and some more severe. The best way to heal that disconnect or that wound is to come into a deeper relationship with Mother Earth, to know that there is an unconditionally loving mother. Look at what we do to her. We rape and pillage and, extract all of her resources and order everything from Amazon and toxify and pollute and poison her. And she's still growing all of our food for us. She's still bringing the rains. The sun is still shining, right? I mean, that's a different planetary body, but still she is so unconditionally loving and nourishing and nurturing for us. And that is such an incredible gift. And so this home, right? It's not just like a physical home. I can look at like, oh yeah, like this little blah, blah, blah. My house isn't exactly what I want it to be, but how is my house? And that's been a big piece for me as I'm watching this transit of my natal Lilith, and we're moving into this home as the full moon in the sign of the home approaches. There is so much that we can learn just by going out and asking the mother, how can I give back to you? How can I embody your eternal loving nature? How can I, even in the midst of having myself sucked dry from whatever it is, right? Like sometimes it's work, sometimes it's relationships or friendships or whatever the thing is, everyone is drained by different things. How can I replenish? How can I refuel? How can I regenerate the way that the earth always regenerates? And so again, as Lilith, this dark feminine, the sign of, it's like our anger and our frustration. She was the first woman. The story is that she defied Adam. She wouldn't lay beneath him. She was like, I'm a sovereign woman. I personally don't particularly agree with that exact story, but I do understand like the importance of, because then they made her evil, but the importance of her being a sovereign woman. I love that was Adam's first wife, right? Is this powerful goddess, dark feminine essence. And then the story is like, oh, and he ditched her for like someone subservient, classic patriarchal twisting of the story, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. So our invitation is really to look at how has that transit, how has this dark moon energy over the last 9 months, through this sign of the mother, shown us what now this full moon is fully illuminating for us in our shadowy elements of relationship to self, to home, to body, to Mother Earth. How are you parenting yourself? Do you speak kindly to yourself? Like my New Year's resolution, I've shared this a little bit on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, that's where like most of my content lives. It's my most active platform. I shared this there, but I had these insane goals that I wanted to hit last year. I wanted to get a 6-figure book deal. I wanted to get all of these things. I wanted 6-figure months in my business, like all this like stuff. It was like markers of what I knew was going to mean that I had made it, or I was doing well, or it was going to make me happier. And I got all those things and it was great and it was amazing. But this year, all I care about is how I feel. How do I feel? And so I've been on this deep devotional journey over the last, 4 or 5 days, right, of the year, where I just am concerned with how I'm feeling. Because that's the kind of mother I want to be to myself. I don't want to be the kind of mother that only cares about my achievements. I don't want to be the kind of mother that shows me love or like acknowledges and honors me because I made something happen or because of like what I'm doing. I want to love myself for who I am and for how I'm being. Because look at the world, right? Like you can make a shitload of money and be an asshole. And I don't think I'm an asshole, but I definitely can get lost in the sauce of thinking that, oh, I need to be this 7-figure entrepreneur in order to like know that I've succeeded because that's what all of my friends are and blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. How can I be a multi-millionaire inside? What is the story that I'm telling myself that, physical expression of wealth or abundance means about me? How can I make myself mean that without it? I mean, even though, I have it, it's with it, but it's not about that. It's not about that. And I only share this with you all because, I built my whole business on magic. I don't do the same things as anybody else does. I don't do the you're supposed to do this in order to have that. I don't do that stuff. I have built my business on magic and trust and faith and on my connection to the earth, on listening to the guidance of Mother Earth. She has given me everything. So you can totally do it the way that everybody else does it. You can work and hustle and, strive really hard, but I've never done that. But a lot of people are talking a lot of shit and telling people that it's supposed to be this or that they have that. And it's just not true. It's just not true. And it doesn't really matter. But I share what I've experienced because I didn't listen to anybody else. I didn't take business courses. I want to engage with you like this and talk to you for real. I truly believe that the way to access real abundance, true abundance, not just physical, financial, material abundance, but the kind of energetic fulfillment and prosperity that we can experience and embody within ourselves, that comes from understanding that you are the earth, right? This is your earth element. This is your physical vessel. The bones in your body are like the stones of the mountains. The blood is the water, the wind is the breath, and the fire is all of that energy and electricity making your heart beat. You are the elements. We are the natural world. And when we can remember that, when we can mother ourselves from that place, when we can create, right? Again, the mother is the creator. When we can create from that knowing, then the abundance is unfuckwithable. That's what then magnetizes it to you, because then you experience abundance in all forms. Friendship, love, money, sex, orgasms, play, all of the things, business, everything. So that is the invitation that we're being asked to look at in this full moon, and that we'll be really working through in ritual at 10 a.m. again, Mountain Time, January 7th, is how can I let go of? How can I come to completion with, right? That full moon is illuminating the invitation to come to completion with the patterns, habits, and behaviors that are preventing me from operating in the most empowered, unconditionally loving mother archetype for me, for how I show up for myself, for how I show up for my creations, whether that's children or business or books or art or anything. What am I ready to let go of? What am I ready to let die so that something new can rise reborn? So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I am Mia Magic. And as always, it is my greatest honor and pleasure to welcome you to your most magical life.